Hey guys, welcome back. So today we're going to be doing something a little bit differently. We were able to pick up this little cabinet here, more or less a TV stand, the other night. And what I want to go ahead and do, it's a little rough, so I'm going to go ahead and buff it up, or clean it up real good, go ahead and get the stain off of here and refinish it. There's some work on it that I need to take care of as well. And I haven't quite done anything like this before. I've done similar stuff, but not a full refinish like this, along with doing some extra work to it. So let me go ahead and show you what this cabinet. Now I think that this cabinet is some kind of a TV stand deal. And let me show you why. Back here, you can see it's got a bunch of slots, a hole there, and some of these, this is the doors. Got brass handles. We'll probably might go ahead and clean those up. But these drawers, shelves, it's got multiple shelves. You see down there at the bottom, it's got cutouts. Both of the ones that are in here have the cutouts. That way maybe you might be able to put something down below here, or just simply extra shelving. I've got some damage here. I don't know if it's water damage or what. As you can see, it's kind of splitting off. I'm going to end up putting dowels in the corners through the face and straighten up this back side and pass them into here and glue and everything. And I've also got a little bit of damage down here, as you can see, a little bit worse on the other side. Now I'm not 100% certain if this is actual wood or not. I'm really worried that this might be the, not plywood, or OSB, but it's a glued, I'm worried that this is the glued type of wood. But back here, I did do some sanding, and as you can see here, I took it past the stain. It looks like ingrain, but since this is kind of a store-bought, I'm kind of worried about it, because it also has, watch out, Bubba, it also has the Made in China tag on the back here. So I'm a little bit worried about this. So I'm gonna go ahead and start taking these doors off, getting the other shelves out of here and everything, and go ahead and get this ready to start messing with the bottom. I'll go ahead and, before I start sanding and everything, since I'm not terribly concerned about roughing it up right now, but I will, of course, later on after I sand it down and get ready to refinish it. So now I think it would be the best time to go ahead and get it up on its top and go ahead and take care of the bottom pieces. Well, go ahead and start with the doors and start taking this thing apart. Okay, so I got all that hardware off. Well, almost all that hardware off. This, I think, I'm just going to leave there. So I think that's going to be out of the way. So, let's flip this over and find out what I'm dealing with here. Yeah, it is that particle board. That's what I was afraid of. So, I'm going to have to implement, here, let me show you. So there's a little bit of water damage here, as you can see. I know there's a spider. Some water damage on these ones. I'm just going to go ahead and replace them. Go ahead and get these, well, crap, I guess I can't really replace them, so to speak. Because this whole side, the panel is one solid piece. So I'm going to have to figure out what I'm going to do about this, because this is not going to work. And something's got to be different about this. So I want to figure out what I can do about these two ends, and probably that little piece that he's messing with right there, that center brace. So I'm going to find out. All right, so what I'm going to end up doing is, I guess, go ahead and cut out some cedar here. And I'm gonna outline this over here on this, but I'm gonna keep it above this trim here. And this trim is gonna become the new guide. So this, I'm gonna have to somehow or other figure out how to fasten it on. Of course, I'm gonna have to take this bracket off, take this off over here as well, and be able to do both sides. So I'm gonna have to figure this out and kind of dissect it a little bit to make this thing work. So, quite literally outlining this and making it into its own copy. So as you saw, she was doing some sanding on these, and I don't know, I don't exactly like the way that these turned out, but I think we might have to go with these for now. I'm always going to be going through some of the handles that we have, little doorknobs, and see what we might be able to find. So we'll just see how this works out. But now I got the trim pieces set up for the legs over there, and I got the middle bracing out. I want to go ahead and cut it down, or get a new piece cut out for it. Probably go ahead and get it mounted, and then start working on getting this cut off. All right, so my wife here started sanding on this, and she's going to be doing this while I'm dealing with that. But I got these done up. It looks kind of close. Obviously, this isn't cedar. That's obvious. But these little pieces, what I'm going to end up doing is, after I get these old ones cut off and get these mounted on, I will go ahead and run dowels in through the end. And I want to go ahead and drill some, I want to drill some holes, probably 3 or 4 holes throughout here, to run it into the lower part of this board. And it will be actually probably more permanently fixed. This is actually, it was hinged. This is definitely a cheaper cabinet that was done up. I'm just trying to make this work and go from there. So this is what I plan on doing, is going and cutting this off. I want to try to use my jigsaw, and it's going to be kind of tough because I'm going to be going off this trim. I'm going to have to be right on top of that. Just barely be kissing that all the way down. So let's go ahead and see what happens. Alright, so I went ahead and got these screwed in. As you can see, went ahead and recessed them on in. I went ahead and threw glue on there as well. And got some dowels in there to kind of get it fixed. I would figure that would look better than screws. And I accidentally made this side a little bit bigger, but I'm not going to worry about the scoring. I want to sand it off, but hopefully these dowels are going to hold either way. So we're gonna call it for today, and because basically after this it's all sanding, which is going to take a really long time. She's been working on that one for those doors for a while, and she's still not quite done. This turned out to be a little bit more elbow grease than what I was anticipating, even though I was forewarned. So oh well. We're gonna get this knocked out. So I'll move on to the next day. All right, so I already knew that these little holes were already here, and I wanted to make sure that I was going to expose them, get them all flush and everything, because I know I'm going to have to come back through and sand to give this a little bit of sand anyhow. But I'm just simply going to use some toothpicks and trim them down, and then a little bit of glue and stick them in there. And then should work pretty fancily, I'd imagine anyways. It's very similar as to putting a dowel in, so I don't see why this wouldn't work. I got 4 of them on here, so whenever these set, I'm going to sand them down and everything. So just real simple setup right here, real easy. So that's one thing. So as I'm trying to finish this up, already got the shelving and the doors. The first coat of the polyurethane. Tonight I'm going to flip them and do the one coat on the back side of them, and then I got to come back through, since it's still rough, I have to lightly sand it and then do another coat of polyurethane on the face, and at least what would represent the top of these shelves, all 4 of them. So but I'm wanting to get this sanded down and everything before I do so, because of dust and everything. I don't want it to be messing with the polyurethane coats on this. So now I gotta get back to wrapping this up on sanding. Sanded it down and got the second coat of polyurethane done, and it is finally together, and it is really almost exactly what I was after for looks and everything. Got all the hardware put together and on, and man, does this thing look sharp for compared to what it used to look like. Now I'm going to go ahead and take pictures of this and try to sell this and see if I can flip it. Now you guys can just as easily be able to do this as well and be able to spend some elbow grease time in. I think we got about 4-6 hours of labor time into this. But of course, I also still had the orbital sander. I also had some other tools, basic tools that would have been needed for this. But they're easy to acquire, especially if you have a Harbor Freight nearby or somewhere with a little bit cheaper tools. So this, being able to flip furniture like this would be pretty easy, especially if you have some kind of finish as well, because that's what would definitely be the eye changer for this. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this video. All the socials are linked down in the description, and if you want to, I'm going to go ahead and promote this. If you want to, I'll go ahead and try to get it linked in the description as well. Our church's YouTube channel, we started getting a little bit more active on there as well, and oddly enough, you'll be seeing my face on there as well. And every Sunday morning we live stream on YouTube and Facebook, but I think it's primarily been Facebook. But I can't remember if it's been primarily Facebook or YouTube. I'll go ahead and get them linked both in the description. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up and go ahead and jump onto the video verse. Alright, so the video verse is James chapter 2, verses 20 through 26. Senseless person, are you willing to learn that faith without works is useless? Wasn't Abraham our father justified by works in offering Isaac his son on the altar? You see that faith was active together with his works, and by works faith was made complete. And the scripture was fulfilled that says, Abraham believed God, and it was credited to him as righteousness, and he was called God's friend. You see that a person is justified by works and not by faith alone. In the same way, wasn't Rahab the prostitute also justified by works in receiving the messengers and sending them out by a different route? For just as the body without the spirit is dead, so also faith without works is dead. And that's James chapter 2, verses 20 through 26. Thanks for watching, guys, and hope to see y'all in the next one.
Thank you.